Hello there, it's Oskar at Virtual Facture. Now, I'm back from holidays, and although I've got a couple of really interesting topics lined up for future videos, for today time constraints kind of force me to really go back to an earlier topic and make a couple of really short additions to something I talked about before. Now, while I was doing a video on control and fencing, I was really singing the praises of slow sparring, pretty much talking about how it allows you to consciously work on certain fencing actions, and in time then turning these conscious actions into partially foreseen actions, and even being able to do these partially foreseen actions at speed. But I didn't really talk about how to achieve that goal though, so for today I'll have a couple of considerations on that topic. Sparring in full gear with Messer can be a bit of a challenge, and gloves are the main culprit here. Most clamshell designs are a bit too bulky for it, and finger gloves, well, they have their own challenges. You're still running into the issue that you have only one hand on the Messer, and that makes grip strength really a limiting factor in how long you can actually fence with the Messer. When that runs out, you need to either take a break or switch hands, and even the best heavy gloves can drain that grip strength way more quickly than a light glove or no glove would do. Of course, there's a solution for it, and that is to get strong. Lots of deadlifts, farmer's walks, and other exercises that have a grip strength component to them will really help. And of course, doing lots of Messer training will have a similar effect as well. But it's not really that helpful for a new person who just wants to be able to, right now, fence more than 5 exchanges. The benefits of sparring regularly are obvious, I think. So you really don't want grip strength to be a limiting factor here. Thankfully, this problem becomes a lot less pronounced when you use light gloves. And a lot of Messer veterans know this, because a lot of the sparring that has been going on in the Messer community for the past few years has been with low gear. But low gear sparring comes with a couple of artifacts as well. One that often slips in unnoticed is that people start focusing far more on the opponent's Messer and less on trying to apply pressure to their openings. This is of course entirely understandable, say if you're both wearing nothing but a mask. But sometimes you just want to be able to apply that pressure to those openings, because this is what makes fencing work a lot of the time. In order to do this, I developed a rule set for sparring that is suitable for medium gear, that is mask, throat guard, jacket and light gloves, and it emphasizes techniques found in Lekker's fight book, and it can still be done relatively safely at somewhat higher speed. It goes somewhat like this. Target areas for this are the zinnen. Literally that's battlements, but you can also translate it with openings. You can land a valid hit there by performing a cut, thrust or slice to either the head or the torso. A controlling slice to the weapon arm is sufficient as well, but if you want, you could play until a follow-up action is made from that slice. Grabbing the weapon arm, disarming, throwing and grabbing your own blade to use the combatant hand are all great. Try to avoid grabbing the opponent's blade though. It's not that it's not martially valid, but it's slightly risky to do with a sharp if the blade isn't immobilized somehow, and more importantly, it also limits your opponent's options to punching, kicking and other things that maybe don't have a place in this form of sparring. The final rule is the most important one though. You don't attack on stepping back. It's very tempting to respond to an attack by stepping back, but if you both attack and your backstep keeps your distance equal, there's a very real risk that you're going to be doubling on each other's hands. This is generally when injuries to the hands occur. To counter this, you should try to only perform attacks when remaining in your place or stepping forward. Of course you can still retreat, but in that case it's best to only parry, reset and then attack again when you're ready to stand your ground or advance. The number of times when Lekkerner tells us to step back can be counted on one hand. It mostly occurs with the Lehmstücke or maiming techniques. If you really want to, you can put these in, but then maybe hit the forearm with a flat instead of the hand with the edge. Perhaps as a signal even to your partner to pay more attention to keeping your hands safe. In the beginning though, I would just recommend to leave them out. Personally, I've really been enjoying this form of free play, and it also allowed my partners to fence with me without necessarily putting bulky gloves on and dropping out after a few exchanges because their forearms are killing them. To finish this video, just enjoy some of the highlights from one of our recent trainings at H3N, and while you're at it, like, subscribe and hit the bell button as well. If you want more of this, consider becoming a patron of the channel. Thank you and enjoy the sparring.